Welcome to The Clown is Down, where you can get mad at us for our opinions. This is Keith.
And I'm Pete.
And in each episode, we will be bringing out our innermost feelings about a wide variety of subjects, from action figures to crosswalks,
Movies to beluga whales.
So sit back and give us a listen.
Remember, we're doing this for you.
Double remember, it's just an opinion. Hey, welcome to The Clown is Down. This is Keith.
And this is Pete.
And we have a new episode. And this one's going to be fun.
Fun.
Sorry.
Fun. All right.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about, tonight's. When is this?
Whatever you want. This is a podcast. It's
whenever
works for you. Whenever works for you.
We're going to talk about once in every lifetime comes a love like this. Oh, I need you. You need me. Oh, my darling.
Can't you see we're the young ones?
And the reason why we're going to talk about the young ones is because this is a show that Pete and I both grew up on and love. We were wondering, if somebody who's never seen it, how would it hold up?
Most of the circles we ran in growing up at least knew of the young ones, if not had like us seen all the episodes. Most of the people probably listening to this podcast have seen or heard of the young ones.
So we found somebody that is a guest on our show today who has never seen it.
What?
I know. And we gave her a disc. She watched all the episodes, and here to say her opinion on it is Krysty. Hi, Krysty.
Hey. Hey guys.
Hi.
Yeah, the young ones. What can I say?
Whatever you'd like.
Whatever. Before you get into it,
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I was born in the early 90s, and I had never heard of the show, to be honest. Yeah.
By this point, I've already seen them all.
By this point, we were
memorized them all,
watching them.
Yeah, never even heard of this.
Now, let me ask you a quick question. Are you a fan of any British television at all? Like anything at all? Are you familiar with like kind of how British humor comes across in media before you watch this?
Not so much. I've seen like Downton Abbey, but
okay. Well, that's not funny, but that's
yeah.
I some people usually when they get into a BBC show or something like that, they find one show and they glom onto it and they tell everybody and they start podcasts about it. So I was just wondering, if you had any interpretation of the BBC before you watched the young ones. But no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, to be honest, no, this was like very new to me. Yeah.
Okay.
So Krysty, go ahead. Tell us about what do you think?
Oh, okay. It was loud. They scream a lot. Is that have you guys noticed
that's we noticed that.
But it's funny. I get why you guys enjoy it. The humor is just like so
humor
bizarre,
with a U. Humor.
Yes, exactly. British humor. But yeah, I enjoyed parts of it. It took me a few episodes to really like understand it, I think. And then once I got what they were going for, I really started to enjoy it more. I would rewatch it, to be honest. I think the more you rewatch it, the more you pick up on the little jokes that they throw in there, but it's a lot to take in. They're just rolling with the jokes like back to back to back. So
Krysty got to watch them for the season 1 and season 2 in order.
Oh, see, that makes so much more sense. I mean, to us, it probably didn't matter because we were young and dumb. And when we first saw it, we were just probably so enamored by it, being this cool thing. But you actually there actually is kind of a story a little bit that goes in. So that's kind of cool. You get to see them all. Yeah,
because so when we got to watch it, it was just random episodes that came on every Sunday night.
So yeah, because it came on before 120 Minutes, which was a show on MTV that showed all the alternative stuff. Did you happen to catch any of the, and I know we're jumping in the deep end here. Did you catch any of like the topical humor? You say you were born in the 90s. The show was produced in the early 80s and Margaret Thatcher's Cold War England. Did you pick up on any of the topical things that were in the show?
Well, I guess his name is Rick, the political one. I had to look up a lot of his references, yeah, to be honest.
Rick with a P, yes.
Is it with the P?
Yeah. That's one of the jokes in the show. It's
okay.
The people's poet.
Gotcha.
He I guess he would be like one of the, for lack of a better term, the kind of hipsters nowadays.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, with Rick, he was definitely one of the loudest ones in there.
Yeah, him and Vivian were just like.
Did you have a favorite character on the show?
I like Neil.
Neil.
Neil's more my speed.
Neil and his lentils.
Yes, his lentils. I feel bad for Neil, to be honest. They all like just they're so cruel to him, but it's part
is Neil your favorite, or do you feel the worst for him?
I like his humor too. I like the jokes centered around him. Yeah, his.
All right.
Yeah. I went through waves of like, of course, when I was a kid, Vivian,
yeah.
When I was a kid, but I agree that I came around to Neil, but Rick became
my favorite. As much as I despised Rick,
yes.
I mean, I don't know if it was Rick Mayall. I don't know if I started seeing the comedian, the actor Rick Mayall as what he was doing with that role, at such a young age, a bunch of young guys, young comedians getting a job on the show where they get to be awesome and hang out with these cool bands. But as I got, of course, Vivian, when you're younger, is just the funniest thing. He just doesn't care, just, does whatever he wants. But as you get older, Rick just is so hilarious on that show.
He is so over the top.
Perfect.
I just love his explosions. Like, one of my favorites is when he kicks in the TV.
Party.
Like when he kicks in the TV, or he's just like this, wants to be this anarchist, but he's just not brave enough.
He doesn't have it in him. Yeah, he talks a big talk.
He just does not have it in him, especially when they had the party episode. And like when they bring in the alcohol, he hides it behind the plate.
And that's it. It's those little things, like, because there was so much going on the set, party, and he's doing all that stuff. And he's so good, man. Rick Mayall was a treasure.
I never really came around to Mike as much. Like, he had moments. There was a few moments that there's some one-liners I actually still I use a lot of one-liners from this series in my daily life, but but he has a few I really like. But overall, I'm glad he was there. I liked his character.
I don't think we could have, any of us could have identified with him at all.
Yeah.
I don't wear a suit. I barely own a suit.
One thing is, I'm just talking about the whole group as a whole. They were the nuclear family. You know what I mean? They were like supposed to be like, Neil was the mother,
right?
Mike was the father, and Vivian and Rick were brother and sister. And after the first episode, Rick, if you ever notice, like, that's what I'm saying, like, watching it multiple times, you're starting to picking up on things. Rick had pigtails in the back of his head.
Yeah, I thought that was a rat tail.
Yeah, there was two of them. And they were supposed to. They were going to represent pigtails, and he was the sister, brother, mother, father.
I could see that. Yeah.
What was Mr. Belosky?
The landlord.
There you go. Mussolini.
Yeah. That, like, I kept getting lost there. I was like, is he supposed to be the same guy every time he appears? Because he's like all these different characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of.
He was the Belosky family, so
yeah, he was all.
Oh, okay. May I ask, how old are they supposed to be on this show? Because by the end, I realized they're all college students, and I thought only Rick was the college student.
They're all supposed to be. They all go to scumbag college.
Okay.
So they're all supposed to be college students at various levels of education and actually attending classes.
Except Mike is the only one I couldn't find what he was getting a degree in. Because see, you have Vivian, whose full name is Vivian Bastard. He was a medical student. Rick, he was sociology and a domestic science. Neil Pye, he was doing peace studies. Mike was just Mike, the cool person.
I think Mike was just I don't think he was in college. I think he was just there. He was
He's
just
just
that guy
living.
who hung around. Yeah, that was Mike.
The
Yeah.
streets were his school. He's learning from the streets.
Yeah, from the streets. So did you have a favorite episode? I mean, there's so many to choose from.
Man.
Out of all 12.
Out of all 12.
Oh, I liked the one that was like kind of Halloweeny. There was one that
Oh, the video nasty.
out in a cemetery, and
Yeah.
that one's probably my favorite. Yeah,
That one.
there's like ghosts and stuff. It was kind of spooky. Yeah.
The poltergeist. I have to agree. I totally have to agree because that one that had a great. That's the one where he had the flower pot on his crotch. And he was like, "How are you keeping that up?"
I have to say, Party or the game show was
Party.
Yeah, Party was good.
Yeah, that was
I think-
fun.
I think that was, like I said, was one of Rick Mail's best episodes. Period. And it's the mousy.
Oh yeah, God.
So good.
Oh
So
yeah,
good.
the bouncy.
And then the game show was just
Since we're talking about that episode, that was the last. That was the finale
was
of
the
the
finale.
series, which I didn't know growing up at all. I did not get it. That was I did not know that was the final episode. But Krysty, did you notice that the actors at the bottom playing who those people were? Because a lot of it, this is 1982. So there's a lot of there was a lot of launches of careers that were happening. There's a lot of people in that you would know on TV shows and movies today.
Not in that episode that you're talking about. The one celebrity that I do remember seeing was Hugh Laurie from House.
Yeah, he was in that episode. He was.
Oh, that was the same episode.
yeah, he was in that.
Okay.
Because he did a lot of BBC stuff before
Okay.
before House. He
And
did a lot of comedic stuff on BBC.
Emma Thompson was on that episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was. My dad bought me a Porsche. Stephen
Oh.
Fry. Also Hagrid. Not on that episode,
Really?
but on another episode.
He looks
Okay.
much shorter. Much shorter.
And thinking just for Harry Potter stuff, they cut his scenes out, Rick Mayall's scenes out of the Harry Potter movies. He was the ghost that was causing trouble always in the castle.
That's right.
Peeves. That's right.
What?
Yeah, he was he played and it was so heartbreaking.
He was also in the new Star Wars movies.
Adrian Edmondson was. Vivian was.
Yeah. That's right. Vivian.
Yeah, it's Vivian. He was in the new.
Wow, I didn't recognize any of those actors.
Oh,
at
they
all.
got old. They got old.
Did you
Very
watch
old.
did you ever what about Absolutely Fabulous? Did you ever see that or Ab Fab?
No, but other people have mentioned that show to me when I told them about this project.
we may have to do a follow-up episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the main
That's what
character
it
on that
is.
one is she was on she's
Patsy
on that
Medina.
yeah, she was on 2 episodes on the Young Ones. She played the serial killer girl.
Oh, is that the
It's-
one where like he woke up with her in his bed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It seems like the comedic circle in in England is very small. It's like all of these guys had TV shows and they all jumped from one to the, not so much different as, it's just a much bigger pond over here, but it seems like they all kind of went, into each other's projects and, did stuff for each other. So that's pretty cool. I like that they do that.
One of the best lines I think in that whole show at the party. I don't know. It's one of those quick ones when Santa Claus sat next to her and she just looked at him and went fascist. I don't know why that was.
I think if it weren't for the Young Ones, I wouldn't call people fascist as much as I do, or would have like throughout my entire life. Is I think that's something that carried on from like the late 80s on, just calling people fascist. In the back of my mind, it's always Rick.
It's
So I'm fascist.
exactly. It's
Something goes wrong at the grocery store, I'm just like fascist. Or if I call somebody a bastard, if I say you bastard, it's always in my mind, it's always Vivian voicing that.
Mhm.
And it happens a lot.
What about the musical guest? Out of all those musical guests, they only had 12 episodes. They only had, I think, 10.
Yeah, there weren't a
No,
lot.
11. They did. There was one episode that they did not have a musical guest on, and they because it was billed as a variety show, where to have musical guests, they got more money to do the show and stuff. Every episode had a musical guest except for one, and that's the one with the lion tamer in it. And they got away with it by having the song playing in the background.
Didn't one band do twice? Weren't the Damned on there twice?
No, Madness.
Madness was on there twice. Okay, I knew somebody did a double shot.
Well,
on there.
Madness, they were building Madness up as being another like a Monkees. They were going to give them a TV series.
I'd watch that.
Yeah,
and
yeah, that would.
Which because cool. Madness at that point, 82 Madness was already fairly big in England. They were big and had a big following. They probably could have done it. They probably could have had a TV show.
So, Krysty, which out of all those bands, which one was? Remember, this is like 1982, so it's like these were just. I believe they were just. They weren't as well known. A lot of
the bands that were on there were actually big, and not big, but they were up and comers in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, Motorhead is Motorhead.
Yeah, Motorhead.
But like the Damned, Madness, Dexy's Midnight Runners, things like that, they were bands that were fairly big at that time in the UK.
Yeah, I definitely recognized some of those songs that they were playing, and I like had to remind myself where I'd heard that. But it was I wasn't expecting to hear like actually good music on some of these episodes. Like Welcome to the House of Fun or something. That was a
that's
good
Madness.
One.
That's Madness. Yeah, that's Madness.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's Madness. I think that had to have been my first introduction to Motorhead.
It was mine. It was definitely mine.
That was definitely my first introduction to Motorhead.
And the Damned.
Yeah, I guess I would have had to be the Damned too. But I knew of Madness at that point, and I really like that. I like that sound. So yeah, I love the music on that show. It was great. It was great that they took those bands that maybe weren't as huge as other bands, but they were up and coming, and they're like, well, let's give them a shot. This is clearly our demographic. This is what we're going for. Let's it's a college house. A college house isn't going to have some new wave, big band come through. They're going to have Motorhead come or the Damned or Madness play in their living room, which would have been awesome. That would have been great.
Krysty, you probably know. You're like, oh, which one is that?
Yeah.
All these oldies.
Yeah, definitely with the Damned. That was on the Video Nasty one, the Halloween episode. That was my first introduction to that band, and you know what's crazy is you got to go back and think again. 1988, 89. You just couldn't. You see this,
yeah, and
you're watching it in front of you, and you're hearing this music, and you just can't go open your phone or open a computer and just go, what is that? Even
the Damned, that wasn't going to get played on 120 minutes, right after the show. This was some band, and I guess at that point, the Damned were coming off like the 77 punk and all that. And they were going into their weird Gothic kind of thing. You couldn't walk into Turtles and say, hey, I want that band that was on that show that you've never seen. Yeah, you're right. We couldn't open our phones and just make that happen.
And even if we did see it, like in Thrasher magazine, you know what I mean? Like they would have the list of music. We wouldn't know what it was. You couldn't put two and two together. It was just words. It'd be like the Damned. And we didn't know the name of the song. Like, unless you I can't remember, like if freeze frame the credits.
Yeah, because the credits would fly through, and you were lucky if you caught it. Motorhead at least had their name on the drum kit. We were like, what's that? That's an umlaut in there somewhere. And and we still had no way of looking it up. It could have been any of 8 different bands.
So one thing I really liked about the series though is I like the quick cuts of like how they would just zoom in, like the whole house was alive. You know what I mean? Like everything was alive.
The house was a character.
Yeah, and so you'd be sitting there, and then all of a sudden you'd be talking, somebody would be arguing, it would just zoom past them and like go to a filthy dishes in the sink, and like the carrots are ice skating, or
the food talking in the fridge.
Yeah, that to me when I was a kid, like it just blew my mind. I couldn't get enough. I got to the point where I stopped focusing on the characters and I started focusing on the room and looking at everything in that room and just trying to figure out what's going to move. What are they about to zoom in on, or like what possibly could have been put in there? And that's like
what little Easter egg is going to be in there. Yeah.
Like
so exactly how disappointed were you after you watched the Young Ones when you watched your next BBC show?
I know.
It just wasn't funny at all.
It's just like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah. Like this was great, but then now I'm watching this and it is not like Dark Shadows or something. It's just not funny.
No, but the whole house being alive, like absolutely loved about the series. And I could not stop like looking around and just excited, like, cool, there's the fruit are gonna talk, and this the plug talks, the rats are outside the club hanging out by the mouse hole.
And the rats are more civilized than they are.
Yeah. College kids.
Well, thinking about backgrounds, did you ever notice the fifth roommate, Krysty, that was in the house hiding out?
I think maybe in the very first episode, but other than that, I was looking for him, and there were always like other people in the apartment too, like just random like guests. So I was like, I just didn't know what to look for there.
The director said they wish if they were more experienced, they would have put him in every episode, but they just had him as they put him in a few, but they didn't do any continuity with him. But it was funny that every now and then they would just sit him in the room and he would have his hair in front of his face and he would just be sitting somewhere.
They should have just said he was in every episode.
Yeah, exactly. We'd be looking for it.
So what did you not like about the show? I mean, I'm sure there is as much. If you've never really been into BBC shows or anything like that, there's plenty to dislike about it. What did you not like about it?
The first thing that comes to mind is just like how gross it can be. Like it's really nasty sometimes. Like the imagery is just, I had to look away sometimes. It's just, yeah. Like
talking toilets will do that.
The dirty bath water.
Oh
that
God.
Really me.
Just the whole bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but they had a great sound with that too. It was like it couldn't even when just the visual and the sound effect for that tub. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the hardest for me to get past. Is just how they live in filth and squalor is just oh God. I know it's a TV show.
Yeah.
They're not really living that way.
I may have had some roommates like that at some point.
I did once.
I saw that tub.
It makes sense that they're college students, though. It took me a long time to catch on to that part of it.
Did it kind of make more sense that they were supposed to be like young punks living there in a crappy house and all that?
Yeah, by the end I was like, oh, okay, that's why they're always home and just goofing around.
They're broke. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're broke. They're stealing TV and they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Anything else like specifically about the show or the actors or how it was filmed, how it's broadcast, anything like that? Perfect show. The clown was down. Perfect show.
No, there's a lot that I liked about it actually. Yeah. I like the little cutaway scenes like you're talking about, like the little like dishes or like things in the fridge being alive, like, and you can see the animatronics there, like how they kind of like I like that. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
figure out how they made it look that way.
Very Muppet-esque. I like they worked that in.
There is one scene, and it's actually in the first episode, and at just one point in my life I would love to be able to do this, but in the first episode when they're about to tear down they're going to tear down the building, they have the home lady, whatever it is, inspector, and she just shows up, and Mike, the cool person, comes out there, and he's just trying to talk to her, like, come on, baby, let's go upstairs. And she just grabs him by the shoulder and then turns and just goes, oh! And then like a team of people just come in. I would love.
That's what you want to do.
Yes, it is.
All the things that happened in that show. That's what you. Okay.
I would love just to grab somebody, just make this some screeching, howling noise, and just have like a team of people.
You don't want to go through the closet to Narnia. You want to just grab someone and scream. Okay, that's cool. Hey man, I respect that. I personally want Motorhead to play in my living room. I mean, you do you. That's cool. But if you could dig Lemmy up and uncremate him, and I'll have zombie Lemmy play in my living room. The neighbors will love it.
What's happening over there?
None of your business.
I know, exactly.
I gotta say, one of my absolute favorite moments of the entire show, something that actually like gets stuck in my head like at least once a year for a week at a time, is Mr. Bolosky singing the Dr. Martin song.
Oh yeah.
It will get stuck in my head for an entire week. And I'll just picture that fat man singing about Dr. Martin shoes for a week. And I love it. I love it. I'm like, Dr. Martin, Dr. Martin, Dr. Martin boots.
So Krysty, you got to discover the show because we gave you a disc to watch and got to watch it. Pete, how was it that you came about it?
You?
Me?
You lent me that first videotape. I think I think it's had 2 or 3 episodes on it, and then I started recording them Sundays at 11:35. And I wish I still had my tapes, because you had your tapes for the longest time. You had that one VHS for VHS forever, and it was great to not only go back and watch the show, but watch the commercials too, because it wasn't a long show. I think it was only like
it's like 22 minutes, but
yeah, it was but they didn't have any commercials. Yeah, they edited it down, so we had all of those cool like late 80s late night MTV commercials, and it was great, because like when I would record the show, or my parents would record it for me because I wasn't allowed to touch the VCR, it would go on for like an hour, so I'd get like I'd get into 120 minutes with it. So I'd get my Young Ones episode, and I get all sorts of cool commercials, and then I'd get just all of this new music thrown at my face, which is we didn't have Spotify. My parents weren't going to let me go down that little 5 points in the late 80s. I was a child. But I got to finally start discovering all this cool music on my own. It wasn't you or my sister or whatever, giving me tapes or telling me about bands. I was like, I like this thing. This is cool. I'd like to know more about this, the Sugar Cubes or the Damned or Anthrax, or just any random thing that came on, 120 minutes. It was great. That's how I discovered not only the Young Ones, but then the whole genre. I was skating and reading Thrashers, and that was our research. Then that's how we cross-reference things. Is we'd go from Thrasher to that, and then I'd go to your house and be like, give me a tape. Give me something good to listen to.
I have to credit Doctor Who. And I know it was one of those things, because I would always stay up all night, and like mother would go to bed, and like I would just be I'm on TV, and like I would just be flipping channels, and after a while I figured out it was on I was flipping through, and I guess it was on PBS, and I just saw this like just crappy set, and like a robot that looked like with this thing sticking out of his head, just screaming exterminate. And this guy, and like at the time it was this guy in a scarf, and he's battling this thing, and I'm like, what is this? I want to live there. And like I'm hunting it down, and like so every night I'm going through all the stations late at night, just turning stations, trying to find whatever that show was that I saw, because I love the set. I liked how crappy it looked, and I liked the whole BBC, the way they film things, and I was like just really excited. That's how I stumbled on it. It's like I just came in halfway through a Young Ones episode. I stopped and I go, "This is it!" And I was so excited
because it was that horrible camera.
Yes,
whatever the kind of cameras the BBC used were just like high def of the day, and they would just.
But it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't until years later that I realized that was Doctor Who. I didn't know what it was. I just remember there was a robot and a guy in a scarf battling. And
dodged a bullet.
I kind of got into it later. I liked it. I didn't hate on it, but
totally different shows.
It is.
But wouldn't it be cool? That would have been a great crossover. Doctor Who and the Young Ones. Man, that would have been awesome. So painting with a broad brush, you say you enjoyed it.
Overall, yeah. It was a weird ride, but it was worth the watch.
It is a wild ride.
Yeah, not what I was expecting at all.
Keith, do you have any history on the show? A quick synopsis of how they came about?
Well, 1982,
eons ago.
Yes, is when it first debuted, because it didn't debut in America until 1985. And when I was reading that, I was kind of like baffled by that, because I don't remember seeing it until like 88, 89, around then. And I was like, it's been on since 85 in America. And I couldn't find any like confirmation. I don't know. Something bothered me about that, because I was like, no, I remember seeing it this time, but
did you check the internet?
I did. I looked at this thing, just one page. Just-
One page. I found nothing. I
Yes.
closed it down and made my decision.
I read the synopsis.
Because-
Ooh, here's something. They tried to do a Young Ones in America.
Pass.
Neil actually was going to be in the series in the American episode. He came over to LA. Jackie Earl Haley was going to be
Really?
Vivian.
And I can see that.
And he said it was such a miserable experience. He hated everybody on the show. He
It
said they were
was miserable. Oh, I hated
He's-
everyone.
He said they were
It was
trying to make
terrible.
it into, they said they were trying to make it like a Benny Hill show.
Yeah.
And he goes, he said he couldn't imagine being there for the next 6 years filming this. He said, and he goes, when the pilot did get picked up, he goes, I was let go of my contract and I was able to go back home.
Sounds terrible being there. So many people there hated me. My lentils.
What lentils?
I don't even know what a lentil is. I hate them. Poor Neil. Poor Neil. His lentils.
Krysty, your favorite characters, Neil.
I think that's a first for me. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone's favorite character being Neil ever. Like Rick or Vivian has always been.
Well, I understand Rick. He's definitely he's got some jokes for sure.
And Rick now is a lot, like I said, is a lot funnier to me now. But but Vivian was just all anger and hatred, which I liked then, which just wanted to bash his head in.
So Young Ones, Clowns Down for me. I think it's one of the greatest TV series of all time. And I'm glad that we're exposing more people to it.
I think it's very metal. Very
Yes,
metal.
very metal.
Very metal.
Krysty, how did you feel about it?
Honestly, I want to go back and rewatch it, especially after everything we've talked about. I already did want to, just because there's so many quick things that are easy to miss. So I think I'll give it a rewatch before I return these DVDs to you.
Okay.
A lot of Easter eggs.
And now you can like pick and choose which episode. You don't have to like watch it. But yeah,
you can skip the bathroom scenes.
Yeah, the gross parts for sure.
Oh, and the snot. All like
yeah. Where the episode when they're all sick. Yeah.
Yes. Cleverly enough called Sick.
Yeah.
They really got into naming those shows. Oil and Sick.
Awesome.
Excellent. Clown is down.
Krysty, thanks for coming on the show. Yeah, Krysty, it was nice to meet you, and it was nice to have you on the show. Oh, no problem. I really enjoy coming on. In fact, if there's anything else you ever want me to watch, I will totally watch it and come on the show and give my opinions on it. Oh, I cannot wait for the next thing. Hey, done and done. Yeah, we'll do that.
You think we're wrong, or you think our clown should not have been down, let us know why. Let us know why we're wrong, or you think we're wrong. Because remember, these are our opinions.
That's right.
You gotta fluff it every night. That's when the old things where they fluff the pillows. That's when you fluff up your feather pillow. I'm just saying you should give it a try. That's all I'm saying.